skedLIVE. It's February 7th and I'm your host, Joe Smith-Engelhardt. Here's what's making news today. U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial immigration ban will be contested in court today to see whether or not it should be reinstated. Last Friday, U.S. District Judge James Robart suspended the travel ban that barred immigrants from 7 countries from entering the U.S. The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco will hear arguments from Justice Department lawyers and opposing attorneys at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and will be live streaming the entire hearing. As the courts battle over the ban, more than 100 companies, including tech giants Apple, Google, and Microsoft, joined a legal brief in opposition of Trump's immigration ban. The companies involved argue the ban would give strong incentive to move jobs outside of the U.S. Among the companies signing the briefing as late as Monday were Elon Musk's SpaceX and Tesla Incorporated. Musk has been forced to explain his involvement with Trump in recent days as one of the only tech executives on his Business Advisory Council. In more U.S. news, the Senate confirmed Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary in a historic vote. Vice President Mike Pence split a 50-50 vote, marking the first time a vice president has broken a tie on a cabinet nomination. DeVos has received widespread criticism from teachers' unions, civil rights activists, and politicians due to her lack of public school experience and financial interest in organizations that push charter schools. The U.S. Army Secretary Robert Speer says he could reach a decision by Friday on the final permit needed to approve the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline. The Army Corps of Engineers have submitted their recommendation to Speer about whether a full environmental review is necessary before receiving a final permit to proceed with construction. The review was initially requested in December by former President Barack Obama. An attorney representing the Standing Rock Sioux has said the tribe will challenge the U.S. government in court if the Army is permitted to build the pipeline. During an interview with U.S. President Donald Trump, Fox News reporter Bill O'Reilly called Russian President Vladimir Putin a killer.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. And if Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world,
right,
major fight, that's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea.
He's a killer, though. Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. You got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
The following day, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that O'Reilly's comments were unacceptable and insulting. Although the Russian government still wants an apology from Fox, Peskov is now saying they don't want to exaggerate the situation and feel it is awkward for the news outlet. O'Reilly addressed the matter on his show Monday night saying, quote, "I'm working on that apology, but it may take a little time. Might want to check in with me around 2023. Now over to Sam Layden with your BizTech News.
Thanks, Joe. Here's what's happening in the business and tech world today. WestJet Airlines topped their estimated revenue for this quarter thanks to a takeoff in passengers, but still may have a rough year of profits ahead. Their passenger load rose to 80% compared to 78% earlier this year, and despite beating estimates for this quarter, WestJet took a 20% drop in profits since the start of the year. Analysts predicted the Canadian airline would have fallen to 40 cents per share due to an influx in fuel costs, which rose 15% in the last quarter. Even with rising fuel costs, WestJet now sits at a lofty 47 cents per share. CBC reported today that TELUS Mobile left a Vancouver ER doctor, Jesse Jansen, in shock after he received a bill for over $24,000. Canada's wireless code requires providers to cut off data usage once the customer has exceeded $50 worth of data overages. Providers can continue the service if customers give consent to pay overage charges, which TELUS says Jansen did. The incident has Jansen and other Canadians wondering if there should be changes to the wireless code in order to confirm the right person is giving consent. According to Jansen, his phone was stolen by a thief who gave consent for more data and then ran up the bill. Snapchat announced over the weekend they'll be taking their company public and could be the biggest initial public offering for a technology company ever. In the past year and a half alone, Snapchat has managed to almost triple its revenue through unique ad strategies and a user base that opens the application on an average of 16 times per day. Their daily average users have been on a steady rise since they began, but that number took a dip when Instagram launched their own story platform. Analysts still say the future of the company looks promising for both founders and soon-to-be investors alike, as CEO Evan Spiegel has been consistently acquiring small tech startups along the way to further Snapchat's vision and functionality. Snap's IPO is expected earlier this year. Fake news might have trouble clawing its way into the mainstream now that Google and Facebook are partnering up to make a program that detects misleading articles. In the wake of a U.S. election supposedly affected by the spread of misinformation, and the two companies are collaborating to make a program called Crosscheck that they hope will improve practices in the ethical sourcing, verification, and reporting of the stories that emerge online. With an upcoming presidential election in France, Google and Facebook want to create the program so people are as well informed as possible when they vote. The partners have also teamed up with various French publications, including L'Express and AFP, to help refine the program. A working version will be available in France as soon as April this year. Chan Zuckerberg is donating over $3 million to the housing crisis in San Francisco. Tech companies have been popping up all over the city for the past year, but the increase in innovation has led to an increase in rent, which has forced a sizable amount of people out of the Bay Area. $3.1 million of the donation will go towards providing legal advice to people being forced out of their homes. The remaining $500,000 will go to UC Berkeley to explore long-term solutions to the crisis. In response to 600,000 Syrian refugees in Jordan finding little to no work, IKEA plans to sell rugs and textiles handcrafted by the refugees themselves. The furniture retailer hopes the initiative will create 200 jobs for those in need. IKEA is working in tandem with local nonprofits that focus on women's issues to help get the project started and rugs on the market in 2019. To end on a lighter note, Japan tasked themselves with a mission to clean space junk out of the Earth's orbit over the weekend. JAXA, Japan's space program, sees the space junk as a threat to future space exploration, and they plan to clean it up using a tethered satellite that would gradually bring the junk into lower orbit. The mission sadly failed, and now JAXA is back at the drawing board to figure out how to clean up even more space junk. I'm Sam Layden, and that's all your business and tech news. Now on to entertainment, I think.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alyssa Croson, and here is your entertainment news for today. The spotlight has been set on some of your favorite Canadians as the Juno nominations were revealed this morning. Local singer Shawn Mendes has been nominated for multiple awards such as Album of the Year for Illuminate and Single of the Year for Treat You Better. Toronto natives Drake and The Weeknd scooped up multiple nominations. Both were nominated for Album of the Year and Single of the Year. Local artist Alessia Cara was nominated for Single of the Year for Wild Things and Pop Album of the Year for Know It All. Ruth B., Shawn Mendes, A Tribe Called Red, and the Strumbellas are all set to perform at the annual music celebration. Make sure to tune in to the Junos on April 2nd at 7 p.m. on CTV. As well, for the full list of nominations, check out skedline.com. Continuing with music news, the internet is roaring after it was announced Katy Perry will return to music with her performance at the 2017 Grammys. The Recording Academy said on Twitter to make the announcement that Perry would be rocking the same stage as Adele, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, and many more. Perry acknowledged her excitement of the announcement on Twitter by responding to the tweet with a raised hand emoji. As well, all of Perry's social media images changed to show off her new blonde locks. The 13-time nominated artist was last on the Grammy stage in 2015 when she performed her song, By the Grace of God, dedicated to survivors of domestic violence. Tune in on February 12th at 8 p.m. to see Katy and many more rock the stage at the 59th Grammy Awards. After her explosive Super Bowl performance, Lady Gaga has announced that she will be going on a world tour. Gaga will conquer stadiums and arenas over her 48-show world tour across North America and Europe. In between her North American dates, Gaga will jet off to Europe for a month and then return to the States for the second leg. Tickets for the first leg go on sale February 13th. The tickets for the second leg will go on sale February 20th. The Joanne World Tour kicks off on August 1st in Vancouver. Gaga will be in Toronto on September 6th at the ACC. For more ticket information, make sure to check out Lady Gaga's website. Some of music's greatest have won a prestigious Swedish music prize. British rock star Sting and American jazz artist Wayne Shorter have won Sweden's Polar Music Prize, which honors international excellence in the world of music. This prize was founded in 1989 by ABBA singer Stig Anderson. Each of the winners received 1 million Swedish crowns. Some previous winners were Paul McCartney, Elton John, and Stevie Wonder. I still maintain a childlike curiosity about music, along with a sense that I constantly need to work at it. So to be recognized in this way is truly meaningful. I'm looking forward to coming to Sweden in June for this special evening, said Sting in a statement. Sting and Shorter will accept the awards at a gala ceremony on June 15th in Sweden. Britney Spears is asking for your prayers after her niece was in a horrible ATV accident over the weekend. You need all the wishes and prayers for my niece, Spears said in her tweet. The 8-year-old daughter of Jamie Lynn Spears is in critical but stable condition after driving her ATV into a pond on the family's Louisiana property. The local sheriff's office said that Maddie Brienne Aldridge was submerged and family members who were nearby were unable to free her from the seatbelt and safety netting until the ambulance arrived. A Donald Trump supporter no more? Kanye West has appeared to delete all of his tweets relating to his meeting with President Donald Trump. The handful of entries from the December 13th meeting at the Trump Tower in New York regarding bullying, supporting teachers, modernizing curriculum, and violence in Chicago all seem to be wiped from his account. West was one of Trump's most high-profile supporters of the 2016 election. West representatives did not provide any comments on the situation. That's all of your entertainment news for Tuesday, February 7th. I'm Alyssa Croson.
Hi, I'm Jake Kletchy for skedline.com, and here's your weather update for Tuesday, February 7th. Let's take a look at today's weather first. For today, we're expecting a high of 2 degrees and a low of 1 degree, with the temperatures expecting to warm throughout the day and throughout the evening as well. Environment Canada has issued a freezing rain warning for today. Expect possible road closures and transportation delays, and be careful out there during your commute. Let's take a look now at your 5-day forecast. So in the back half of your work week, where we're starting off here, we're expecting some sub-zero temperatures, a little bit colder. We have -1 tomorrow, and on Friday we'll be down to -3 degrees, also with some possible flurries. When we take a look at your weekend, we're looking at some warmer temperatures, so that'll be nice. 5 degrees on Saturday, we're looking at 3 degrees on Sunday, and also on Sunday some mixed precipitation, possible little bit of rain, some flurries as well. That's your 5-day forecast for this week. I'm Jake Kletchy.
Thanks, Jake. Toronto police are investigating a homicide in Etobicoke after a body was found with multiple gunshots near a ravine. The person who discovered the body called 911 late Monday night while on a path near Islington and Bergamot Avenues north of Rexdale Boulevard. The police have said the man is from Toronto but are not releasing his name until after his family has been contacted. No suspects have been identified as of yet. 2 Toronto teenagers were shot in separate incidents yesterday. A 17-year-old boy was shot in the stomach in broad daylight at Yorkgate Mall just before 4 p.m. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition but is expected to survive. Later in the day, another teenage boy was shot in a drive-by shooting in Rexdale and appears to be in life-threatening condition. Paramedics took the boy to hospital on what's called an emergency run, which is only used in the most urgent cases. Police are searching for a black vehicle seen driving away from the scene where the victim was found. In other Toronto news, 2 people are dead following a fiery crash near the Skyway Bridge in Burlington this morning. Police say the vehicle rolled over and hit a guardrail before being completely engulfed in flames. Sergeant Carrie Schmidt says speed may have been a factor in the crash. The section of Eastport Drive near the Skyway Bridge was closed for several hours while police investigated the incident. Now we'll go to Charnel Anderson with sports.
In sports news, the Raptors beat the Clippers 118-109 at the Air Canada Centre last night. During the game, Kyle Lowry sunk 5 three-pointers, moving to #1 on the Raptors' all-time list. DeMar DeRozan scored 31 points on his return, following a brief departure due to an ankle injury. The Raptors are set to play the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night in Minneapolis. In hockey news, the Leafs blew 2 third-period leads in a 6-5 overtime loss to the New York Islanders. Some are saying that the loss is due to the team's inability to defend its net. Indeed, Leafs coach Mike Babcock told the Toronto Star that their defense made some mistakes, and he wants to get that fixed quickly. However, the team's rookies were on their game last night. Each of the Leafs' 5 goals were scored by first-year players. Despite everything, the Leafs managed to gain a point, earning themselves a playoff spot over the Boston Bruins. Speaking of the Boston Bruins, the struggling team has fired their head coach, Claude Julien. This year marks Julien's 10th season with the Bruins, making him the longest tenured head coach in the NHL. Julien led the team to the Stanley Cup Championship in 2011. However, the team has missed the playoffs altogether in the last 2 seasons. Bruins owner Jeremy Jacobs issued a statement this morning wishing Julien and his family the best in the future. In the meantime, assistant coach Bruce Cassidy will take over as the Bruins' interim head coach. The jersey that Tom Brady was wearing when he led the New England Patriots to the greatest comeback victory in Super Bowl history has gone missing. Brady took off the jersey in the locker room after the Super Bowl 51 game on Sunday night and hasn't been able to find it since. It is unclear if the jersey is lost or stolen, but its status as a valuable collectible has Houston police on the lookout for the jersey. It is no surprise that Canadians want to watch American advertisements during the Super Bowl. This is confirmed by Bell Media, who said their ratings for CTV, CTV2, and TSN plummeted 39% on Sunday. Bell Media is blaming the loss of viewers on a ruling handed down by the Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission. Last August, the CRTC ruled that Canadians should be able to watch the American advertisements, despite criticism from Bell and the NFL, who say financial loss is inevitable if they can't sell Canadian ads during the biggest TV event of the year. Tom Brady was not the only one breaking records at the Super Bowl on Sunday night. Nevada's sportsbook also set a record for the highest bets ever made during the Super Bowl. According to the numbers released by the Nevada Gaming Control Board, gamblers bet $138.5 million in Nevada's sportsbooks, surpassing last year's high of $132.5 million. Speaking of bets, Canadian tennis player Eugenie Bouchard bet against Tom Brady and lost. The Falcons had a 25-point lead over the Patriots in the third quarter, and Bouchard tweeted that she knew Atlanta would win. A Twitter user named John Guerki replied, asking Bouchard on a date if the Patriots won, to which he replied, sure. Following the Patriots' victory, Bouchard tweeted that she learned a lesson, to never bet against Brady. The tennis player is apparently going to honor her wager with Guerki. Another Canadian tennis player named Denis Shapovalov was fined $7,000 American for unintentionally striking chair umpire Arhano Gabas in the eye with the ball. In addition to the fine handed down by the International Tennis Federation, referee Brian Early declared an immediate default for the unsportsmanlike conduct. Shapovalov apologized to his fans and supporters in a statement on Twitter, saying that he lost control of the emotions after losing the game. Gabas had swelling and bruising under his eye, but precautionary evaluation did not find any damage to his cornea or retina, according to the Toronto Star. In Humber news, the Hawks are traveling to Kitchener to face off with the Conestoga Condors in volleyball on Friday. Last weekend, the women's volleyball team beat Fanshawe, taking first place in the OCAA West Division. The men's volleyball team lost to Fanshawe, leaving them in fourth place in the OCAA West Division. This weekend, both the women's and men's basketball teams are hosting the Cambrian Golden Shield at the Humber Athletic Center. And that's your sports news for this Tuesday afternoon. For skedline.com, I'm Charnel Anderson.
Thanks, Charnel. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy is facing charges over irregularities in the funding of his failed 2012 re-election campaign. One of the 2 magistrates handling the case ordered the trial based on Sarkozy spending more than he was entitled to, despite warnings from his accountants. The source who spoke on condition of anonymity said 13 others would also face trial over the issue. If Sarkozy is convicted, he will face a 1-year prison sentence. At least 20 people have been killed in a suicide bombing at Afghanistan's Supreme Court in Kabul. The bomber detonated a suicide vest in the car park of the court compound, targeting employees as they left the court to go home. No immediate claim has been made for the attack. The court bombing came hours after a senior district official in Western Farah province was killed in a bombing claimed by the Taliban. And that's your news for today. I'm Joe Smith Engelhardt. Until next time.